What if there's a letter describing exactly what Jesus looked like? A detailed eyewitness account from the man who sentenced him to death? Pontius Pilate wrote directly to the Roman emperor about Jesus. And what he described will shock you. Miracles, the trial, the crucifixion, the resurrection, all from someone who was actually there. This changes everything. Let's dive in. Before continuing, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video if you want to spread God's truth. Let's continue. Pilate starts his letter shaken. Your Majesty, what's happening here is unbelievable. This will affect our entire empire. Running Judea was a nightmare. He throws a banquet for local leaders. Nobody shows up. When the high priest finally visits, he makes excuses. But Pilate sees through it. These leaders hated Rome and would betray anyone for power. The scary part? Pilate admits he's terrified. He's got maybe 100 soldiers in a city ready to explode. He asked for backup. Denied. Rome's spread too thin. Then he hears about a young teacher in Galilee. At first, he thinks it's another rebel. One day, Pilate sees a massive crowd around this young man speaking calmly. It's Jesus. He sends his secretary to listen. The report? I've never read philosophy that compares to this man's wisdom. Someone tries trapping Jesus. Should Jews pay Roman taxes? Say yes, you're a traitor. Say no, you're a rebel. Jesus responds, give to Caesar what's Caesar's, and to God what's God's. Brilliant. Pilate decides to quietly protect him. But the wealthy religious leaders hate Jesus. He calls them snakes, decorated tombs full of death inside. Every day, complaints flood in. Pilate invites Jesus to headquarters. When Jesus arrives, Pilate writes, my feet felt glued to the floor. My body trembled. Jesus stood there completely calm, pure, peaceful. Pilate had never seen anyone like this. Nothing prepared him. Voice trembling, Pilate warns, you've made powerful enemies. They're turning on me for protecting you. Be more careful or they'll force me to act. Jesus responds calmly, Governor, before the flowers bloom, the blood of the righteous will be shed. I'll protect you, Pilate promises. My headquarters is your refuge. Jesus shakes his head with a serene smile. When the time comes, there will be no refuge for the Son of Man. Only in heaven. Then he adds, you have no power to keep the victim from the sacrifice. He walks away. Pilate felt relieved because Jesus' presence was too heavy to bear. Passover's coming. Jerusalem's packed. Pilate's informants say the temple treasury is bribing people to demand Jesus' death. Pilate begs Syria for reinforcements. Denied again. Jesus gets arrested on charges of rebellion. Zero evidence. 3 enemy groups suddenly unite: Herodians, Sadducees, Pharisees. A man claiming visions throws himself at Pilate's feet. Don't touch this man. He's sacred. I saw him walking on water, Caesar's statues crying. Disaster awaits if you ignore your wife's warnings. The marble steps shake from the crowd's weight. They bring Jesus in. What crime did he commit? Pilate demands. He blasphemed. Declared himself the Son of God. Pilate tries everything. Offers to release Jesus as the Passover prisoner. The crowd refuses. He argues they're breaking their own laws. Nothing works. He orders Jesus flogged. It only makes them angrier. Pilate washes his hands before the crowd. This man has done nothing deserving death. His words mean nothing. The crowd screaming, crucify him. That day, Pilate writes, was like every demon from hell gathered in Jerusalem. The crowd spun like a whirlwind, screaming louder than any riot he'd ever seen. The day starts getting darker at midday. Like winter. It was the Ides of March. Same date Julius Caesar died. Pilate watches from headquarters as the innocent man is led to execution. My soul felt connected to Calvary. A weight on my chest told me this was more a drama of the gods than of men. Black clouds gather over the temple, spreading across the city. A patriarch shouts, either the Creator is suffering, or the universe is falling apart. A violent earthquake hits. Jesus' close friend Bazar is found dead. That night, Pilate goes to the site. The crowd returns with somber remorse, realizing what they've done. His Roman group passes silently, shaken. The standard-bearer draped the eagle with cloth. Mourning. Back at headquarters, an elderly man kneels, surrounded by crying Romans. "Who are you?" "Joseph of Arimathea. I've come to ask permission to bury Jesus." Pilate grants it and sends guards. A few days later, the tomb is empty. The disciples say Jesus rose from the dead, just like he predicted. Pilate had ordered 100 soldiers to guard the tomb. He calls in Lieutenant Ben Isham. Isham's terrified. His testimony. Around the fourth watch, a soft light appeared over the tomb. The place was illuminated. I saw what seemed like the dead in burial shrouds, all looking younger and joyful. There was heavenly music, the most beautiful I'd ever heard. The entire sky seemed to be praising God. Then the earth shook violently. I couldn't stand. The ground moved beneath my feet. I fainted. Pilate tries finding explanations. Sunrise? No, too early and still dark. Dizziness? No, he'd been awake all night. The scene lasted nearly an hour. The priests offered Isham money to say disciples stole the body. He never saw any disciples. Some priests admitted they believed Jesus wasn't ordinary, that he'd appeared throughout history. Pilate writes, "Friends and enemies acknowledged Jesus controlled the elements. He turned water into wine, healed diseases, raised the dead, calmed storms." If he performed these acts witnessed by thousands, it's clear he wasn't accused of common crimes or harming anyone. I'm inclined to believe what was said at the cross. Truly, this was the Son of God. So what did Jesus actually look like? Average height. A calm presence that drew everyone's attention. His face conveyed kindness and peace. He looked at people with deep compassion, understanding them completely. Long, soft hair falling over his shoulders. Slightly wavy. Light brown, almost blonde. This set him apart from most people there. His eyes were most remarkable. Deep and piercing. Some said they varied between light brown and blue. They conveyed wisdom and kindness with firmness that understood life profoundly. Fair skin with smooth texture. Like someone who spent time outdoors but maintained a healthy appearance. His face was beautiful and symmetrical, inspiring confidence and respect. It projected authority without being intimidating. Full, well-groomed beard. Simple but dignified clothing. A long robe and tunic. No jewelry. His appearance conveyed humility and simplicity. Without speaking, he transmitted peace and welcome. Pilate ends his letter, "Noble sovereign, this is the most accurate account I can provide. I've presented all details so you may judge my conduct fairly." A first-hand account from the man who sentenced Jesus to death. A description most people have never heard. Testimony about events that changed history forever. Think about this. A Roman governor, trained to be skeptical, logical, and tough, couldn't deny what he witnessed. He saw something that shook him to his core. The miracles. The supernatural signs. The empty tomb. The soldier's testimony. And that presence that made even the most powerful man in the province feel weak. What do you think really happened that day? Drop your thoughts below. And if this blew your mind, hit that subscribe button because we're uncovering more historical mysteries that challenge everything you thought you knew. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.